You want to know what fucking Clive Davis did for Whitney Houston?
We've all heard the whispers about Clive Davis, the big shot in the music biz. But according to Jaguar, he's not just a mogul. He's allegedly a player in some dark sacrificial game.
I'm sick and tired of the Judas spirit, but I'm more sick about it when it comes to my people.
Leola Brown, Bobbi Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beat. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up.
Jaguar's pointing fingers at Whitney's own circle, and you won't believe who's allegedly in on it. The one and only Ray J. Yeah, you heard that right. Jaguar's connecting the dots, suggesting that Clive wanted Whitney out of the way to snag her estate. And Bobbi, well, she had to go too. But why? And is Clive really the puppet master pulling all the strings? It's like a real-life thriller, but we're not watching it on the big screen. So, what's the deal with Bobbi needing to go for people to access her mother's estate? Are we talking foul play, scandal, or is this just another twist in the crazy world of celebrity drama? Jaguar Wright, like a relentless detective, has been on a mission for years, waving the truth flag about Whitney Houston's mysterious death. And you won't believe the hurdles she's faced trying to get the authorities to take another look at the case. It's like a real-life game of Clue, and Jaguar's determined to expose what's really behind that closed bathroom door. Let's rewind a bit for those not in the know. February 11th, 2012. The Beverly Hilton Hotel, a place where glam meets tragedy. Whitney Houston, the powerhouse of a voice, was found face down in a water-filled bathtub. The official narrative? An accidental drowning fueled by a heart attack and intoxication.
Whitney Houston found face down in her hotel bathtub when she was found dead, but she may have been there, we're finding out, for more than half an hour.
Seems straightforward, right? Well, not according to Jaguar. Jaguar's been shining a spotlight on the inconsistencies in the stories we've been fed. And trust me, there are more holes in this plot than Swiss cheese. You start digging into the various versions of what went down that night, and it's like trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. Here's the kicker. The official report claims Whitney drowned during a bath, intoxicated. But hold on, folks, because things get murky. According to the details, Whitney was found face down with a bloody purge from her nose. That's a far cry from the image of a serene, bath-taking scenario. It's raising eyebrows and questions faster than you can say. What really happened? So what's the deal here? Is there more to Whitney's tragic end than meets the eye? Could there be a cover-up? A hidden truth waiting to be unveiled? Jaguar writes on the case, and we're along for the ride, dissecting the tangled web of stories surrounding Whitney Houston's untimely demise. Let's talk about those abrasions. 2 on her forehead, 1 on the left side of the bridge of her nose. Sounds like more than your average bath time mishap, right? Well, according to forensic pathologist Ciro Wecht, these superficial injuries point to a different story. A story that might just shatter the narrative we've been spoon-fed. Wecht, the real-life detective of the medical world, dissected the final anatomical diagnoses on Whitney, and guess what? They didn't add up. It's like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit the picture. The water in Whitney's bath tube that fateful night, scalding hot, over 93 degrees Celsius. Now, that's no cozy bath temperature. Wecht raises an eyebrow, suggesting Whitney wasn't peacefully soaking. She likely accidentally drowned under bizarre circumstances. And here's the bombshell. Wecht believes Whitney fell into that searing water. Unconscious, dead, or dying, she took a plunge that left her lying face down in the tub. But hold your horses, because Wecht doesn't think drowning was the primary cause of death. No. He drops a truth bomb, saying, "I do not believe that the death was due to drowning." Wait, what? Wecht speculates she could have been in a struggle moments before, head submerged in water, contributing to her demise. It's a theory that opens a whole new can of worms. And guess what? It aligns eerily with Jaguar Wright's claims that Whitney was beaten and then drowned in her own bathtub. If Whitney was just chilling in her tub, having a peaceful soak, how on earth did she end up with injuries on her face? It's a head scratcher, right? And don't even get me started on the boiling hot water in her bathtub. Who in their right mind bathes in temperatures that could cook an egg? It doesn't add up. Jaguar Wright's theory gains traction as we explore the idea that Whitney might have been attacked first and then thrown into that scalding tub. It's a chilling scenario that paints a picture of a struggle. Perhaps a sinister plot orchestrated by someone with malicious intent. Now, enter the private investigator Paul Huber, a man with a history of probing high-profile cases. He claims to have evidence that Whitney was murdered. Hold on to your hats, folks, because he alleges that 2 thugs sent by powerful East Coast drug dealers to collect on a $1.5 million debt were involved. And get this, there's supposedly CCTV footage capturing these men entering Whitney's suite on that fateful night. But here's where it gets even more twisted. Not everyone was in the dark about these mysterious men. Some people close to Whitney might have known them. It's a web of deceit, intrigue, and possibly betrayal that stretches beyond the boundaries of imagination. And if that isn't enough to keep you on the edge of your seat, here's another bombshell. By the time investigators arrived at Whitney's room, things had mysteriously moved or disappeared. Her California driver's license was missing from her wallet, which was inside her pursy. Prescription medication bottles were shuffled around. The coroner himself reported these oddities, yet police concluded there was no foul play. Now let's connect the dots, shall we? If everything was as natural as they claim, why was her driver's license missing? Why the haphazard rearrangement of her meds? It smells fishy, and it sure seems like someone might have been trying to stage a scene to deflect from a more sinister truth. Forensic toxicologist Bruce Goldberger weighed in, revealing that prescription meds like Xanax were at mild levels and didn't contribute to her death. But here's the kicker. Whitney was acutely intoxicated from cocaine. It's a heartbreaking revelation that adds another layer to this already complex puzzle. Now, let's shift our focus to the man of the hour, or should I say, the man in the spotlight, Clive Davis. The whispers have been persistent. Many suspect him of being the mastermind behind the tragedies of both Whitney and Bobbi. And when you look at the details, it's hard not to raise an eyebrow. Picture this. Hours after Whitney was discovered lifeless in her bathtub, Clive Davis decides to carry on with his pre-Grammy party. Now, call me old-fashioned, but that doesn't sound like a normal reaction to the news of a mentee's untimely demise. It's a scene straight out of a dystopian drama, where reality and morality take a back seat. When confronted about the peculiar decision to proceed with the party, Clive defended himself, claiming it was a tribute to Whitney and what she would have wanted. Hold on a second, a tribute? While Whitney's lifeless body is just upstairs? That's a tough pill to swallow. Clive even suggested that Whitney's family didn't want the party canceled.
There were many. Why did you let the party go on?
Of course, this is a personal thing. But the Grammys were the next night. You don't cancel. You turn an evening into a tribute.
You did a magnificent evening.
Evening into...
Did you give a thought to canceling?
Never.
You never thought?
Never.
Did you ever think...
And the family did not want me to give a thought.
Didn't?
No.
But let's talk about family. Whitney's grieving mother and her 18-year-old daughter, who now faces a future without her mother. Does anyone really believe they wanted the show to go on? Not according to Whitney's best friend, Chaka Khan, who stepped forward to debunk Clive's claim. According to Chaka, Whitney was not the type to say, the show must go on. In fact, she believes Whitney would have wanted everything to come to a halt.
You were, I think, going to go to the Clive Davis party.
Yes.
It was a surreal event where Whitney's body was still in the hotel, and there was this sort of party where apparently half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying. What did you feel about that?
I thought that was complete insanity. And knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She's the kind of woman that would say, stop everything. I'm not going to be there. You know.
Chaka Khan, Whitney's confidant and best friend, didn't mince words when she called out Clive Davis's decision to continue with the party as a tribute. In fact, she was so shaken by the news of Whitney's passing that she couldn't even muster the strength to do her own makeup, let alone attend the party. According to Chaka, the decent thing to do would have been to say a prayer, eat, and go home. She couldn't fathom the idea of celebrating while Whitney's body lay lifeless upstairs. And let's be real, folks. Whitney, as Chaka pointed out, wouldn't be caught dead, no pun intended, at a party with a body still in the building. As Chaka eloquently put it, hell to the nah. When someone passes away, you don't throw a party. That's just common decency. So, shame on Clive Davis for his questionable choice. But here's where it gets even more chilling. Different theories have surfaced, with the most spine-tingling one being that the party was more than just a tribute. It was a ritual, a sacrifice. Yeah, you heard that right. Some believe that Whitney's death was orchestrated as part of a dark, symbolic ceremony. As one commenter aptly noted, every time Clive Davis throws a party, somebody dies. It's a disturbing pattern that has people questioning the true nature of these so-called celebrations. And here's the kicker. Rodney Darkchild Jerkins, a notable figure in the music industry, stands firmly in the camp that believes Whitney and her daughter's deaths were sacrifices. It's a claim that sends shivers down your spine, making you wonder if there's more to this tragic tale than meets the eye.
Going to Clive's party. We go every year. Yeah. And when I never forget being in the kitchen, and I sat there and I was froze. And I saw that she passed away, and I was just like, we can't go to this.
Yeah.
And I didn't go.
Yeah, that was a tragedy.
I don't even know how they still had that event.
Rodney Darkchild Jerkins, a prominent figure in the music scene, opened up to DJ Blatt about the profound impact Whitney Houston had on him. Darkchild was so profoundly affected by Whitney's passing that he couldn't bring himself to attend the very party he'd been invited to. But it's when he delved into his memories of Whitney's living presence that things took a poignant turn. Darkchild recounted a moment when Whitney graced his family's small church service, filling the congregation with the pure beauty of her voice. The way he spoke about her radiance and the light she brought, it was as if Whitney was an ethereal force, a beacon of positivity that some forces sought to extinguish. Now brace yourselves for another heart-wrenching twist in Whitney's narrative. It seems that in the midst of her meteoric rise and tragic fall, Whitney was grappling with an awareness of the dangers that surrounded her. Her family noticed signs of distress, weight loss, reliance on substances, and the struggle to quit. Her excessive smoking even led to mild throat issues, adding to her anxieties about losing her iconic voice. But here's where it gets even more haunting. Just 2 days before her untimely death, Whitney unexpectedly crashed an interview with Clive, Brandy, and Monica. As if guided by an eerie premonition, she passed a note to Brandy, while repeatedly uttering the haunting word, drown. So what was the mysterious note Whitney passed to Brandy during that interview? Sources suggest that Whitney, in her heightened sense of unease, believed Clive Davis was plotting to replace her with Brandy. It's a startling revelation that hints at a darker side to the mentor-mentee relationship between Whitney and Clive. Despite their once strong bond, sources suggest Clive held Whitney under tight control, and she was growing weary of it. Whitney, being Whitney Houston, wasn't one to be easily managed or silenced. As her resistance grew, Clive allegedly sought to end their relationship, but not without squeezing every last drop of profit from her legendary status. The idea of staging a sensational death to capitalize on a legend's legacy becomes a haunting possibility. In a chilling turn of events, Whitney reportedly visited Clive just days before her passing, leaving the meeting disheveled and disoriented. Witnesses claim she was sweating, and there was blood dripping down her legs. The details are shrouded in mystery, but they paint a disturbing picture, adding another layer to the speculation that Clive might have orchestrated Whitney's sacrifice. Jaguar Wright has boldly pointed out that Clive Davis stands among the few who had something to gain from Whitney's death. Let's not forget, Clive is one of the wealthiest figures in the music industry, with a net worth nearing $1 billion. The question on everyone's mind, how did he amass such wealth? Some believe that his riches come with a shady underbelly, and the sacrifice of Whitney for her money is a theory gaining traction. Leola Brown, Bobbi Kristina's aunt, added fuel to the fire when she publicly stated her belief that Whitney and Bobbi were murdered. It's a chilling allegation that opens the door to a realm of sinister possibilities.
That somebody killed my niece, just like they killed her mother.
Leola Brown, Bobbi's aunt, has dropped a bombshell, claiming that she firmly believes Bobbi was murdered. According to Leola, a sinister motive loomed over Bobbi's life. Many individuals sought her demise because she stood in the way of accessing Whitney's estate. It's a dark theory that points to a calculated move to eliminate Bobbi.
I believe that there are several people that wanted Bobbi Kristina dead, but I think the purpose of her death was to gain full access to Whitney Houston's estate.
Leola doesn't stop there. She pins part of the responsibility on Nick Gordon, Bobbi's ex. According to her, when he gets arrested, the entire operation will unravel like a house of cards. The connections and conspiracies surrounding these deaths are getting more intricate by the minute. Now, let's rewind to the tragic day when Bobbi Kristina was found face down in her bathtub, mirroring the eerily similar fate of her mother Whitney just 3 years prior. The circumstances surrounding Bobbi's death are shrouded in mystery. While the autopsy revealed large amounts of drugs in her system, it couldn't definitively confirm whether her drowning was accidental or intentional. In a bizarre twist of fate, Nick Gordon, who also discovered Bobbi's body, died from an alleged drug overdose in July 2020. The parallels between Whitney and Bobbi's deaths have long fueled suspicions of foul play. It's either a twisted joke of fate or a more sinister narrative that mother and daughter met the same tragic end face down in their bathtubs. Even Bobby Brown, Whitney's ex-husband, expressed dissatisfaction with official reports, suggesting that Nick Gordon played a role in providing the drugs that led to both Whitney and Bobbi's deaths. Jaguar Wright echoes this sentiment, implicating Nick, along with Ray J and Clive Davis, in a dark plot to end the lives of both women. According to Jaguar, Ray J, who was one of the last people to see Whitney alive, allowed a drug dealer to enter her room and administer drugs. The web of conspiracy deepens, and we're left with more questions than answers as we navigate through the shadows of these unsettling revelations.
Next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot.
Jaguar Wright has laid it all on the table, shining a spotlight on the dark corners of the music industry.
Ray J and Whitney Houston were in a relationship during the last days of her life. Why did you leave and not come back? Matter of fact, after she was found dead, why weren't you there in the ambulance, riding with the coroner? Why weren't you there with your girlfriend who you was... And from what I heard, a lot. When do you hear Ray J talk about Whitney Houston?
As we wrap up this riveting journey, the questions linger in the air. Was Clive Davis truly the puppet master orchestrating the demise of two iconic figures for the sake of financial gain? Or are we grappling with the shadows of accidents and coincidences? Fans rally behind Jaguar's quest to expose the unsavory truths that permeate the entertainment world, especially for women. The support echoes with encouragement, acknowledging the difficulty of her mission but appreciating the strides she's made. In the end, the truth remains elusive, leaving us to ponder the mysteries that surround Whitney and Bobbi's deaths. As the debate rages on, one thing is clear: the legacy of these two remarkable women endures, their stories etched in the annals of music history. So, what's your take on this tangled web of allegations and suspicions? Do you believe in the possibility of sacrifice and conspiracy, or do you stand with the official reports? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.